It all began on a Tuesday morning. I was at work, sipping my coffee, when a message from Lisa, my wife of 8 years, popped up. Had lunch with my work husband today. He's really become my real partner at the office. She typed it casually, like it was no big deal. I nearly choked on my coffee. My stomach dropped. I stared at the screen, struggling to make sense of the words. Real partner, I muttered under my breath. Lisa always had a playful way of phrasing things, but this felt different. I called her right away. Lisa, what do you mean by real partner? I asked, keeping my voice calm, though I could feel my heart racing. She chuckled lightly. Oh, come on. Don't be so dramatic. You know I'm just joking. He's my work husband, that's all. Still, something in her tone didn't feel right. I'd heard the term before, but the timing of her lunch and the casual way she said it set off alarm bells. This wasn't just playful teasing. There was a hint of intimacy beneath it. My thoughts started spinning. Over the past few months, subtle signals have been showing up. Late-night messages, extra smiles when mentioning him, occasional comments about his help outside of work. I decided I needed to find out the truth before confronting her. I started quietly, paying close attention to her behavior, noting patterns, and keeping track of strange interactions. I didn't want to confront her without solid facts. Within a few days, the reality became clear. Lisa hadn't been joking. She had been involved in an emotional affair with Mark, a senior colleague at her firm. The term work husband was more than a joke. It was a way of framing a hidden relationship, a daily emotional connection I hadn't noticed. I gathered proof carefully. Messages, emails, social media activity. All of it painted an unmistakable picture. While it wasn't physical, it went far beyond friendship. The deeper I dug, the more deliberate her actions seemed. Lisa had been nurturing this bond under the guise of work, taking advantage of my trust. By Friday, I had collected enough evidence to act. I knew confrontation had to be precise and deliberate. When Lisa came home from work, chatting casually about office matters, I waited until she mentioned Mark in passing. Then I spoke. Lisa, I know about your work husband, I said, keeping my tone steady but firm. She froze, her smile vanishing. What do you mean? She whispered. Her usual confident, carefree attitude faltered instantly. I don't know what you mean, she stammered, but I could see the flicker of panic in her eyes. I stayed calm, letting her squirm. I pulled out my phone and started showing her the evidence. Messages, emails, social media interactions, every private exchange, every flirty comment, every sign of emotional attachment. Everything was undeniable. She tried to defend herself. It's just texting. It's nothing serious. You're overreacting, she exclaimed. But the truth was clear. Work husband had been a mask for a deeper betrayal. She had crossed a line I couldn't ignore. I let her protest fade, focusing on the proof that showed her intent and emotional involvement. Lisa, this isn't a misunderstanding, I said calmly but firmly. You build a relationship with him behind my back, and it's not innocent fun. I trusted you, and this is how you treated that trust. She went silent, finally realizing there was no escaping the truth. Next, I planned a course of action. I wanted accountability, not just for the emotional betrayal, but to make sure it wouldn't happen again to her or anyone else. Using the evidence, I contacted Mark's HR department, presenting proof of inappropriate workplace behavior, emotional manipulation, and the risk it posed to the company. It was uncomfortable, but necessary. Within days, HR called Mark in. The investigation moved fast. By the end of the week, he had been removed from key projects, reassigned, and eventually let go. The man who had seemed untouchable at work now faced the consequences of his actions. The work husband was gone, leaving Lisa shocked and unable to defend herself or him professionally. At home, the atmosphere was tense. Lisa began to grasp the weight of her choices. She had lost a career ally, and our marriage was damaged beyond repair. I wasn't angry in a wild, uncontrolled way. I was resolute. Her betrayal had been intentional, and my response had to be measured, effective, and exact. Emotional manipulation could no longer have power over me. The following days were heavy with tension. Lisa avoided my gaze, only speaking when necessary. She knew her actions had consequences, and there was no escaping the fallout. I stayed composed, focused on clarity. This wasn't revenge. It was about accountability, truth, and protecting myself. One evening, I called her into the living room. "We need to talk about our marriage," I said firmly. Her eyes widened, a mix of fear and guilt evident in a single glance. I explained that trust, once broken so deliberately, could not be restored. Emotional betrayal and secrecy had damaged our relationship beyond repair. She tried to argue, promising to change, but her words rang hollow. The evidence was irrefutable, and her decisions had been deliberate. We began the divorce process immediately. I presented the evidence clearly and professionally, documenting her affair, the manipulation, and Mark's involvement. Lisa could no longer control the story or claim innocence. Transparency allowed the legal process to move quickly. Every step was a lesson. Trust is sacred, and deception has consequences. I realized something important. I didn't need to act out of anger or humiliation. My goal was clarity and justice. By revealing the truth, I reclaimed my life and dignity. Lisa's choices destroyed our emotional bond, and Mark faced professional consequences for his manipulation. Exposing the facts ensured no further lies could linger in the shadows. Finally, as the divorce was finalized, I felt a quiet relief. Betrayal had cut deep, but transparency and action brought closure. I had confronted deception, documented everything, and let the truth guide me. Lisa had made her choices. Mark had been held accountable, and I regained control over my life. Looking back, I understood the value of vigilance and self-respect. Trust can be broken, but strategy, evidence, and careful action can restore balance. Lisa's betrayal ended our marriage, but my measured response ensured truth prevailed, and I could move forward without regret, knowing justice had been served in its clearest form.